today I'm going to attempt to draw my life. So my name's Christine Riccio, and I became a living, breathing thing August 4th, 1990. I was born in New Jersey, which is one of the states in the United States, right next to New York, some people don't know. And I was born in a town called Livingston in a hospital called St. Barnabas. I was an only child for the first 3 years of my life, and to be honest, I don't remember too much about that. I was a Disney child. My parents used to be able to put me in front of the TV, throw on one of those Disney sing-along movies, and I would shut right up. My first word actually was Mickey. When I was 2 years old, my parents got pregnant again, and when I was 3, just like that, I had a sister, and I was no longer the only child here, thank the Lord. This is also around the time that I started taking dance classes. I started out just taking ballet, but before I knew it, I was taking ballet, tap, jazz, acro. I loved learning the routines. I loved dancing. Performing's always been something that I really enjoyed. This is also around the time where my obsession with dinosaurs became a thing. I remember watching Jurassic Park with my dad when my mom was out because she thought it would give me nightmares and I wasn't allowed. I mean, it might have given me nightmares, but dude, it was worth it. It was so awesome. My dad and I used to actually put together dinosaur models. I mean, I was 5 years old, so I couldn't do much, but he let me dictate the colors, which resulted in some pretty interesting looking dinosaurs that I displayed proudly on my shelf in my room till I was maybe 14. When Olivia got a little older, she sort of became my shadow. She went through the stage where she would copy everything, and I mean everything, that I did. And 8-year-old me, not amused. I remember we would go to McDonald's, my mom would ask us what we wanted. I'd hesitantly tell her chicken nuggets because I knew Olivia would copy me, and then she would, and I would want to be original, so I'd be like, no, I want a burger! And then Olivia would be like, I want a burger! I got to the point where I'd wait till the very last second to tell her what I wanted. But having Olivia around had its perks too. I used to be terrified of the dark, and my dad used to send me downstairs in the basement to fetch stuff for him a lot. And I found that I could easily manipulate 5-year-old Olivia into coming down with me. If you come downstairs with me, I'll make you a cake. Sold. Sold on the cake. There were never any cakes. The Christmas that I was 7, I got my first real camera, and I'd been obsessed with them since I knew what cameras were, and I was just so ecstatic. Olivia got one that year too, because of course, if I wanted one, she wanted one. She was irresponsible and broke hers, though. Idiot. When I was 8, my little brother Paulie was born. Cutest baby ever in the history of babies, and I do not take that lightly. I was constantly taking pictures of him, and we were constantly talking to him, and I swear to God, by the time he was 7 months old, he was speaking in full sentences. And that Christmas was the year that we got our Nintendo 64. Before Paulie could actually play the games, he wanted to play the games with us. I used to give him a controller and tell him he was Mario, but actually Mario was computer player. Genius. Best thing I ever did. Olivia and I lulled ourselves silly. 1999 was also the year that I really discovered reading. I mean, not just reading things for school, but I started going on my way to get books. I actually remember lugging Goblet of Fire back and forth from school in 5th grade with this huge book that I used to carry instead of putting in my backpack because I couldn't go to school and not have it for dear time. 1999 was also the year I met my 2 still best friends, Christina and then Jenna, and we've had each other's backs ever since. I've never been the sort of person to have tons of friends, but these 2 wonderful ladies have been at my side since we were 8 years old. And in the year 2000, I finally discovered the internet. AOL was hot stuff back then, and I made my first screen name, Poland Bananas 20. Then came middle school. I was super late to grow, so at 8th grade, all the girls were 13, 14 years old, and I was maybe 4, 8. I was this little tiny, awkward, anorexic-looking midget with crazy teeth. I couldn't get braces yet because my teeth hadn't all fallen out. In 2006, for my 16th birthday, I actually finally got a video camera, which I'd been wanting for so long, and I made a YouTube account. My dad owns a copier fax machine company. In 2006, he told me I should start working for him, and so I did. Filing papers, inputting numbers. It wasn't the most exciting, but it paid well. In 2008, I got accepted to Boston University, and I was super excited, and in fall of 2008, I moved out to Boston for school. That first year was interesting. I mean, I liked school, but I didn't love school like everyone described when they came home from college during the holidays before I went there. I was in a quad freshman year, so I was in a room with 4 other girls, and those were really the only people I made friends with. I mean, they were great people, but I didn't end up really having that much in common with them. Sophomore year, 2 of my roommates went to go live off campus. Me and my other roommate, Kat, and her friend, Abby, went to live together. And then next year, Abby and Kat got really close. And a lot of times, since I didn't have that much in common with them, I ended up feeling like the odd man out. Around the same time when I went home for winter break, I mean, my family life is complicated and messy. Growing up, my parents had always gotten into really loud, heated arguments. Things always went on. When it was done, it was done. And it wasn't until my late years of high school that I even thought about the possibility of divorce. In December of 2009, when I came home for Christmas break, I could tell something was off, and that night there was a really scary, loud fight, and I just remember being huddled upstairs in Olivia's room with the dog and Polly, and I was crying because I could tell that this was it. My parents were locked in divorce lawyer hell for a good long time, and I would go to work to where my dad was, and a lot of his anger and frustration with my mom would end up a lot of times being pushed on to me. I mean, I was technically an adult, but that didn't stop me from being their children. I wasn't an impartial party that they could vent to, and it took a little bit for that to become apparent. Looking back, I'm grateful that this fell during the time I was away at school, because being home was really hard. To escape to Boston was a huge relief. Toward the end of sophomore year, when it came to get housing for next year, right before we went to the housing meeting, Abby and Kat actually told me that they both were going to live with other people in 2-person apartments next year. And I just looked at them. It was one thing to do that, it's another thing not even to tell me, so I couldn't even try to prepare. I mean, I didn't really have any other close friends I could ask, but now I couldn't even try to find someone. So come junior year, I found myself pretty sad a lot when I first got to school. But this is when I really came into YouTube dumb. Because I was living by myself, I had more time, and that time ended up being put into YouTube, and I discovered vlogging, and it made me so much happier. And I comforted myself with the fact that I would hopefully be in London next semester because I'm planning to study abroad. So I applied, and when I was accepted, I was over the moon excited. On January 9th, 2011, I flew out to London. I was super nervous, but I was super excited, but the nervous side was winning out until I got there. I'd never traveled alone, I didn't know anyone who was going on the program, and I'd never been out of the country before. Hands down, going abroad was the best decision I ever made in college. When I was abroad, I met my friend Allison, and it was abroad that I started making YouTube videos on a weekly schedule. And Allison and I, and a rotation of our other flatmates, traveled all over the place. It was so much fun, and it's an experience that I would totally do 2011 over again, just so that I could do that again. It just changed me completely. I came out of Europe so much braver. When I got back to Jersey, I was broke, so I went back to work for my dad's office, and I decided that I wanted to go to VidCon that summer. Second best decision 2011, went to VidCon anyway. I flew out to LA, and that's where I met Katie Strange, I met Evan, I met Morgan, I met Savannah, and for the first time, I really realized how big the YouTube community actually is. Going back to school that fall, it was the first time I'd ever been excited to go back to school. I usually dread it, and I wanted to go back. Allison had invited me to room with her, and I got to school, and not only did I have a wonderful friend in Allison, turns out my other 2 roommates were just as fantastic. One of them was my friend Julia, and the other one was my best friend Katie. At BU, they have this program for film TV majors called Study Abroad in LA. Almost all the film seniors go abroad the second half of their senior year, but I had just gotten back, and I really didn't want to go. And I found out they have a summer program. Best decision. I moved out to LA during the summer. I had an internship there. I made friends who were in my major. I went to VidCon again. So now I'm back in New Jersey. I'm living in my mom's house. I mean, my relationship with my dad is still pretty tense, but it's better than it was last year, so baby steps. I'm taking improv classes, and I'm saving up so that I can eventually move out my parents and hopefully make my way back over to LA to see where life takes me. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope you guys stick around to see how things pan out. Thank you for watching. I'm Christine, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!